You're delivering this message at a time when Andy Burnham does appear to be having a Burnham bounce in the polls, largely at the Greens' expense. So are you worried about that? And in talking about the environment today, is this you trying to regain some credibility on an issue that some critics within your own party say you haven't really been talking enough about since you've become leader?
First thing I would push back on before answering your question directly is I've been talking about the nature and climate crisis from the day that I was elected as the Green Party leader. And I've been in so many interviews where people have said to me, you're not talking about climate and nature. And I've said, please ask me a question about it. It would be my absolute honour and I would delight in being able to talk about these things. What I have done, and I think is key to your question, is link the climate and nature question to the issues that people are talking about every day. Now, I wish people were talking about the climate crisis every day, and that's partly why I've called this press conference today, because I've seen over the last few days and few weeks the shocking scenes of wildfires, the number of 3,000 deaths. It's a number that can just kind of get said, but I think we need to sit in that 3,000 people have died because of the extreme heat. And I recognise the platform I have as leader of the Green Party. I recognise that we have 230,000 members. I recognise that our polling was higher. It's still much stronger than it's ever been. And I recognise that with that platform and with that moment, I want to draw attention and do everything we can to push the Prime Minister to take action on what is such a crucial subject. Now, I've focused on the climate and nature crisis today, but we already heard from our guests as well that this does link in. This is a way to lower bills. This is a way to transform some of the inequality in our society. This is a way to create the jobs of the future and to make sure we have more cohesive communities. So I don't think we can or should talk about climate and nature in a silo. I do think there are times, though, when people have died and we know that more heat waves will come and we know that next year we could have even more extreme temperatures, that there's a moment to say, we can put the cost of living crisis to one side for a moment. We really need to talk about climate and nature, but it is important to keep linking it back and let people know if they're worried that the climate crisis is going to be off the backs of working people, I'm worried about that too. It does not need to be that way. We need to recognise that BP have doubled their profits during the Iran war. We've got Barclays who've gone up a third in their profits, who are advising some of their clients to say that they can profit in the extreme heat. That's egregious, it's grotesque, and it needs calling out. And what I would say to the press and the media in the room is I can call it out as a political leader, but I think you also have a role to call it out. And I know some of you do, and so this isn't blanket calling the media one thing. We have journalists doing brilliant work. But the amount that we hear about whatever Nigel Farage or Reform want to talk about, and the little we hear about the climate and nature crisis is pretty glaring. And so I hope this moment can be a reset where we can talk about the really important things more. Thank you.